Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to After Hours Gaming League. This is your host, JW Schmo from Team Raytheon. Welcome to week number 7 between Raytheon and Epic. Epic has taken a decisive 2-0 lead against Raytheon in this best of 5 matchup. And we're in game number 3. So without further ado, in the bottom left-hand corner, playing for Epic as the blue Protoss, is Small. And in the upper right-hand corner, playing for Raytheon as the red Protoss, is Belgrat. Now Epic is up 2-0 at this point. Epic's Rays was able to take game number 1 against Fire Ferret in a PvT matchup with a Bioforce being taken up by 4 Colossus, a couple Phoenix, and a large number of Zealots, and maybe 1 or 2 Stalkers. Actually, it was probably about 8 once we were all done and said with the game. However, Rays being able to push back his Terran opponent, his Terran getting a little greedy economically, going for a 3rd base, and not having the army to back it up when push came to shove, unfortunately. So that gave Epic one point in this matchup, and the second one was on TheGreat's favorite map, Daedalus Point, where he played ZeusAlmighty, Battle of the Gods for the Ancients, of course. And we had a ZVC matchup between 2 of the greatest players in their respective teams, and one of them came out on top. So I think we know how that ended up. Unfortunately for TheGreat and for Raytheon, ZeusAlmighty had a pretty good win there. Actually, it was a little bit in doubt about halfway through the matchup. However, some I guess, I don't know if you want to call it luck, skill, whatever have you, ZeusAlmighty was able to come from behind in his muta count and get ahead by about 10 mutas when he was down by 15. And 2 probes passing the night. Hopefully one of these 2 players in this matchup will figure out where their position is based on the fact that the 2 probes ended up in the same spot at the same time. So ZeusAlmighty able to get a win off TheGreat in what was a crushing blow for that matchup. And so that brings us to game number 3 between Belgrat and Sma. Sma is the team captain for Epic. So of course we expect him to manage his economy extremely well, as he is able to manage his players extremely well also. So Cybernetics core, let's look at production. Pretty typical play. Belgrat going for a 2nd gateway in PvP. A little bit different. Does tend to mean with the gas, he hasn't committed yet to 3 on each, while his opponent has. Alright, so probably some sort of push here from Belgrat. Going for a 2nd gateway. I would expect to see a little bit more. Also, his gas is, his energy on his Nexus is extremely high for this early in the game. Typically you see that only when you're going to chrono boost out the Cybernetics core. Unfortunately for Belgrat, this probe was sitting there watching. He does start the chrono boosting on the Mothership core and on the Cybernetics core once that probe got out of the way. So I don't know if Belgrat's going for a 4-gate, typical when you have that amount of energy stored up, or if he's going for some sort of other kind of play. And it does look like, in fact, he is going to go for a Stargate. So from an income standpoint, Belgrat a little bit ahead on the mining, but a little bit behind on the gas, is as to be expected, given the unit count. And of course, Small, because he was chrono boosting on his main, is a little bit ahead on probe count. So Belgrat going to get out what looks like he's going to get 3 Stalkers out on the gateways before he gets Warp Gate finished. And this Stargate is going to be kind of the deciding factor right now. It's interesting though that the tech is there. He does switch over to 3 on each gas. A little bit out there on this chrono boost. Would have liked to see another probe being chrono boost there. He is supply blocked, and that's what it is. This Oracle, unfortunately, supply blocked here. This probe trying to get a proxy pylon down, but not going to be soon enough, unfortunately. Sma trying to get a scout in. Does he get it? He sees the pylon, but he isn't going to see what's beneath it, which is the Stargate. Still, Belgrade, that Stargate, way delayed. Really would have been effective here to poke in, force the Mothership Core to commit to something a little bit earlier, but now his entire attack delayed because of that pylon not being there, because he got supply blocked, unfortunately. Alright, so Small, a little bit more typical play here from Protoss in the early game. Going to get 2 Forge, a little bit different, but normally good for tech, and he's going to have a robotics facility out. So that's a good counter against any type of stalker play. And this is going to be key. That scout right there is going to force Belgrade's hand. So he is going to have to lay down, Small's going to have to lay down a force field to block off his stalkers. Unfortunately for Belgrade. So he's going to be able to use up a little bit of the energy from these sentries. However, that's going to be a trigger, and in fact it does force from Small, very intelligently, getting the mothership Photon overcharge out, and Belgrade forced to play some shenanigans. He does have this Oracle just sitting there waiting, not sure what it's doing. The Immortal is out, not exactly sure what he's doing. It does look like Belgrade is going to be making the transition over to the natural. He is getting a huge amount of damage done with this Oracle, completely annihilating every single probe. That unfortunately, he is using that Oracle right now to take down the Nexus. Not sure if that's how I would have done it, but oh well. This Oracle getting sniped down a little bit here, and Belgrade doesn't want to commit. Okay, so now we've got 2 Immortal plans, so effectively that is going to close this off, if Sma so chooses. That Immortal is actually going to destroy the stuff. He is going to get that Mothership Core to survive, to fight another day. And that Oracle is just going to hang out in the middle there. Belgrade, though, way late on the natural expansion, most likely as a result of that push. So now he is going to be, well, not terribly behind, but behind. Yes, behind. The mineral count here in favor of Small. Gas count is about neutral between the two. But 11 on his natural, 15 on his main. Belgrade oversaturated, 21-24 on his main, and no natural. So that effectively means that we've got an extra about 10. Oh, now it's even more. It does look like Sma is going to be droning up here. Right now we're probing up, I guess is the appropriate time. And does look like he cancel off one of the forges to allow him to get out an Immortal faster. That was smart. But now he is going back to get another Forge and his Twilight Council. Alright, so we're going to see maybe some Blink play from him, maybe a Zealot charge. I don't necessarily know if we'll see High Templar or Dark Templar too early. However, the transition into Archons is always good against an opponent, especially one that looks like he's going air. Because those Archons are going to be able to tank against these Void Rays. Now that would be a decent response, given that Small right now is very Immortal heavy. 3 Immortals with a 4th one on the way. He's expecting more play. I think he's actually expecting some sort of 4 or 7 gate Stalker play from his opponent, which would make sense given what he had seen up to this point, which was almost all Stalkers coming in at his main. Alright, so it does look like Small with the +1 attack is going to get +2 attack and +1 armor. That is going to leave Belgrade, who has not gotten... Oh, he doesn't even have a Forge down, unfortunately. And that's going to be a major detriment to him as this game goes on, because as the unit count climbs, all that's going to do is going to allow Small to get more powerful army quicker. Alright, so this Oracle is going to come in, going to try and lay down some damage here on this natural. Photon Overcharge does go down, however this Oracle is going to have to push back. Photon Cannon does finish as well, this pretty much nullifying this Oracle at the natural. It does look like Sma is going to get his 3rd, so really going for a macro play at this point compared to his opponent. Belgrade going to be caught a little bit out of step here. Does look like he is going to go for a robotics facility, but I'm not sure that he's fully aware that his opponent is macroing at this point. Not too much that he can do about it, though. The scouting really information in there. This proxy pylon would have been really useful with a zealot, maybe. And Smaw does look like he's got. We got 5 immortals, 2 sentries, and 6 stalkers, and an Archon. So that Archon's going to be a pretty good tank. It does look like Belgrade is going to do a little bit of scouting here. He's going to see that that third is down and going to try and push out. If he's going to do this, he's going to have to do it soon. He's got 2 problems. One, he's got a huge number of immortals. He's got an Archon to deal with, and these Void Rays are only going to be as effective. They're only going to be so effective. I don't know what I'm saying. They're only going to be slightly effective against that army if more Archons come out, which they do. 3 more High Templar. He does not have Psionic Storm down, so that means that their only real use is to be turned into Archons, which will do. So 3 Archons are going to be very effective here, especially with +2 attack and +1 armor. Armor really doesn't matter with only 10 HP. It's really the shields that are the difference, but even still. And it does look like Belgrade's going to get scouted here, unfortunately. Unless this guy passes in tonight. Does look like an Oracle is engaging, going to take down that 1 Stalker, trying to force, very intelligent, trying to force his opponent's units to go back. It is going to happen, however, not for long. And ladies and gentlemen, Belgrade trying to make an engagement out of it. However, let's see if he goes for it. However, right now, Smaw in a very good position to hold this. He's going to have the defensive advantage. He is going to have the advantage of having 5 immortals and 3, what are these? Archons, sorry. At his base. Belgrade, no choice here but to pull back. Immortal finally joining the fray. 2nd Immortal on the way. But these Stalkers are just going to get chewed up. Absolutely chewed up by the amount of tanking going on here from Smaw. The engagement looks like it's happening. He's picking off one of the Archons. 1 Archon does go down. Is he going to try and tank on a 2nd Archon? I don't know. We're going to find out. 2nd Archon getting poked at. Shields are not researched. So another Archon. Is he going to come? Another Archon's going to fall down. 3rd one is going to fall. So Belgrade doing some damage there, but from a unit standpoint, not sure how effective these Stalkers are only doing so much. Some force field going down, holding back the units at bay, holding very effectively for Belgrade, but I think the research is too much. Smaw getting the 1 up here on Belgrade. Belgrade has no choice but to retreat. Smaw very effectively pushing back his opponent. The Void Ray is not able to hold against that attack. And now Smaw is on the offensive. He's taking down 1 of the immortals. Psionic Storm's wrapping up. I don't know how effective that's going to be. That might just be an afterthought as if he's playing Zerg. Belgrade with a Void Ray just kind of hanging out here. Not sure if he's trying to hunt back these immortals. I don't think there's much choice here. He's going to have to make some decisive play here. Mothership Core gonna lay down a photon overcharge. Yes, he does. Immortal's a little out of position. Gonna allow for a little bit of play here, but these immortals just tank too much. These Stalkers attack, and now that 3rd is gonna most likely fall. This Void Ray doing a little bit of damage, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Really need to get rid of that anti-air. That Void Ray is still just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. And it looks like Smaw is going to take game number 3. A little bit Zealot play, however Smaw is able to hold off that play on his 3rd. And now he's in his base, and GG, unfortunately, from Belgrade. So game number 3 going to Epic, taking Raytheon out back and just beating them decisively. This is your host, JW Schmo. Stay tuned for next week, which I believe is the last week of the regular season before we go into the playoffs, where Raytheon will once more try and come out with a win in the regular season to finish off this season. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching and have a good night.